personally, what is your, like, do you personally like designing projects for residential, commercial, retail? Like, what's your...
I like residential the best, of course. But I also like, we've done like 3 to 4 healthcares. We're doing one right now. We've done hospitality as well. Like I said, our first ever project was the resort was hospitality. I think I enjoy everything. It's about, because every client is different.
Correct.
So it's not the project, it's what you're doing. You're meeting new people, you're building relations, it's just the whole process that I enjoy.
It's very fulfilling.
Yeah. So I tell them that, what happens is when you go and pick your outfit, it is easy because you know what you want.
What is collaboration for you? How important is collaboration in this business? Welcome to The Serial Designer. I'm very excited to share this today. I have a very, very dear friend of mine, architect Namrataa Shetty. She has been the principal designer of Studio Namaha along with her partner Neil Cresto. She has worked on various projects all from Alibag, Pune, US and Mumbai. We welcome her today on board. Also, she has been featured in various magazines like Good Homes, Architectural Digest and Vogue. She was also a part of the Milan Design Week, and we welcome her today to celebrate her award-winning journey of design. A very good evening to you, Namrata ma'am. Should I call you Namrata?
No, please, just
Actually, it'll be
Namrata.
very weird if I say it like that.
I look like one 50-year-old.
No, I generally have a habit. I mean, I feel someone who's better in experience than you. I always call them a ma'am.
I also do that, but I am not that old or experienced
Not old,
yet.
but experienced definitely.
So we'll complete 7 years in July, Namaka.
Then you are experienced. You are very much experienced.
No.
Good. All right. A very good evening to Namrata Shetty here today. And I'm very delighted to invite you on my podcast. And I'm sure my viewers will gain a lot from this conversation. And you've been in several magazines featuring, and your Studio Namaha has also been very successful since the past 7 years. So how was this humble beginning? Like, where did it start from?
I don't know, it'll sound very cliche if I say it just started out of nowhere. Where I used to stay, my neighbor happened to know that I'm a designer, and she just happened to ask me if I would like to help her with the interiors of her house. And that's when I was between switching 2 jobs. So I did not have, in my previous job, I did not have much of an experience of handling a project by myself. So I approached then my colleague, and then later the co-founder Neil Cresto. I approached him saying that, would you like to help me with this project? And he was still working at that time. So he said, for sure, but there'll be limitations to how much I can. But even so, when it started, he was still working. So we were freelancing for, I think, a year or so. And then in 2017, we registered our company. When we were happy with the kind of projects we were getting, and we felt, okay, that this is when we can actually sort of start officially. And he quit his job, and then we started. So it just happened. I mean, so our neighbor, like I said, our neighbor had asked us. That didn't work out. But then later, where I used to work earlier, my colleague, her father owns a resort in Bordi. And she happened to ask me, whether you'd help me renovate some of the rooms. I said, for sure. And that's how it just started. That was the first project. And then later, cousins, friends, somebody or the other, they happened to know that I've started, and that's just started. And eventually, so 2017 is when we officially started.
All right.
Yeah, and we'll complete 7 years now.
Yeah, I mean, word of mouth works best in our business. That is like for sure.
Yeah.
And what about, you want to talk about more about your brand? Like, how do you build a personal brand? Studio Namaha.
Yeah.
And people are knowing that through features in Good Homes and Architectural Digest and whatnot.
Yeah.
So what is that is driving your brand?
So from the beginning, word of mouth, yes. But from the beginning, somehow social media has helped us a lot. 2017, Insta was still picking up in terms of interiors and business. So our initial first, I think, few projects came through Facebook. And then somehow Facebook slowed down, and then Instagram picked up. And somehow 80% of our projects from the beginning came from social media. Somehow, yeah.
I mean, that's a first, because the moment I speak to people of our fraternity,
Yeah.
people are like, word of mouth is always.
It is.
yeah.
It's also very important. So what happens is,
But social
once
media giving you clients is amazing.
Yeah. So initially, because social media again, so initially we got whatever little work we did. So in the beginning, it was not obviously all that easy. So whatever we used to register ourselves everywhere. After the first project that we did, we put it up everywhere on Facebook, Insta, everywhere. So through that, people would share that or whatever organically, whatever work we got, we would just run everywhere. And even if it's like one room, one corner, we would just sit overnight, plan it, design it, and then present it. But then out of 10 projects, maybe we got one, because the other 9 went to, like we say, word of mouth, the ones who came through references. Because you have that trust factor over there, because somebody's worked for them, or their relatives have worked, or friends have worked. So yes, that matters a lot. The reference part matters a lot. But eventually, with those social media projects, that is how we built the brand, and that's how. So whoever, for example, our very first big project that we got was also through social media, and there, I think now we're doing their 4th friend's house.
Oh, wow.
In I think 5 years now, yeah.
Nice.
So that's how. So social media helps you sort of take baby steps, and then you build your whole
brand.
circle. Yeah,
Correct.
Yeah.
Also, what is your brand USP?
I would like to say, and that's what I feel we do, and now that's the kind of feedback we get from our clients, that they like how versatile our portfolio is. How even if you go to our page now, right from understated luxury to Scandinavian to eclectic, everything, we try to cover everything. And because from the beginning, the clients have been our inspiration. Whatever their requirements, or they are functional and aesthetic mainly defines your portfolio, but whatever the aesthetic requirements have been, that has been our base. And that's how you develop, and that is our base. So we develop the design from there. So that's how we try covering every design,
So
or every theme from there.
Being versatile is
Our forte. Yeah.
Correct. Also, you just spoke about clientele.
Yeah.
So, what is the difference between the clients that you get, or is there a hierarchy? How does that work?
No, so for every client, for every designer, as you grow, so like, for example, sometime back, maybe a high-end client for us, for somebody else. Now we have higher aims. So there's no hierarchy as per se, but I'm not sure how to, so at every stage you will have a different level of client that you look up to, that now, okay, this is my aim, this is where I want to go to, this is the kind of project I want to do.
All right.
Yeah.
You also have this program under your hat. You do a program for freelancers, I suppose.
Oh, yeah.
So, giving them leads on social media.
Yeah.
So, do you want to talk about that?
So it's actually nothing. It's just in 2020, when COVID had, sort of made everyone's life difficult, there were a lot of projects that we were getting which we could not take, because there were, like I said, after a certain time, you sort of start barring a certain amount of budget, that, okay, I cannot take up this budget project now. So I felt, why just waste this? Because I know, because we started from scratch. We did not take contacts.
Because you have started from scratch, you know the value of
getting a lead. Yeah. So we said, okay, let's, although like we got that initial break that like I said, my friend gave, but after that it was again the same journey, that how to get more projects, what to do, etc. So like I said, we were registered everywhere, and we would run for that one wall, one room, one bathroom. We would run whatever it is. We would take up anything and everything. And it was difficult at many levels, because you don't know, like now if you're working on it, you don't know whether you're going to get the project or no. And there were many other issues as well. But having said that, so we knew how difficult it is to convert a project, or even get one lead for that matter.
Correct.
So I said, why waste this? I immediately put it, I shared this idea with Neil that, why not just put it up on Instagram, that whoever wants leads, let's just distribute, or just give their names to the client, so that it's not a nuisance to anybody, because client wants a list and they can choose and they can approach.
That's very generous of you. I mean, designers like us, you would die for such leads, as of now. But that's very generous of you.
No. It's just about because when you have gone through it, you know how difficult it is. Yeah.
I mean, that's your humble beginning. I mean, everybody has their beginning. Also, what are turnkey interiors, like specifically turnkey?
In very laymanish language, if I say, when you have two kinds of projects, one is turnkey and one is consultancy.
Okay.
Turnkey is where the designer is responsible for all the work. He is your main one point of contact, and all the contractors and everything are from the designer's side.
Alright.
And but what has happened is, with time, the definition has changed or evolved, I would say. There are a lot of role changes, not exactly role, but there are certain rules that have changed with time. There is no rule book per se for that. But what happens is, now there was a time when so ideally your design fees is supposed to be included in, for example, if it's a turnkey project, then the design fee has to be included in that.
Correct.
So there is no segregation of your design fee and your contracting fee. But in a consultancy, you know that the designer is charging you this much fee, and whatever the contractors have to be paid directly. But there are designers who charge fees separately, even in turnkey. Reason being that times have changed. Now, when you give them a BOQ, they might go with the contract or with the rates to multiple vendors or whatever, and they'll feel, oh, this is high. But then how do you tell them? How do you justify? No, that this, the fees included in this
Fees are included
is also
in
included in
turnkey.
this. Yeah.
So basically, turnkey projects, design fees and contracting fees are included.
That is one aspect of it only. But mainly it is about that the whole responsibility is of the design.
So one, as you said,
one point of contact.
One point of
and
contact.
one person who is responsible for the whole thing.
All right. You also mentioned a point about social media.
Yeah.
That how it helped you.
Yeah.
But does this also have its cons?
Like everything. Internet, social media, everything.
Yeah.
So it has more, I think it has more of positives than negative, because it's how you take it.
But people are taking it, I remember we talking about it. People are taking it more like a DIY kind of a thing.
Interiors, yes.
So I don't know why this shift is taking place.
But I think it's not even a shift for that matter. From the beginning, I feel, because what happens is, we have to understand that whenever it is, whether it's interiors, whether it's fashion, whether it's graphic, whatever, whenever there is a consultant involved, and there's a person involved as a designer and as a client. It is something that you have to take the client's requirement, like I said, that has to be the core, and there will be feedbacks, and there will be things like, oh, this is my house, I have to look at it every day, so I want it in a particular way. So this was always there. Maybe, I don't know, maybe 25-30 years ago, there was time when maybe designers and architects were not questioned about, how will this look, and I don't want it this way. But with time, that has changed and evolved.
But clients are also getting exposed to social media, to reels, through Pinterest.
Yes. Yeah.
And like I'm sure you must have faced clients coming to you saying that I want something like this. They have the boards are full of references.
Yes. So like I said, there are positives also. I take it as it helps us to visualize and understand what do they want. But then it's up to you how you explain them that, okay, this is it. Now here we have to change and sort of not change, but at least take this as inspiration. We cannot copy it exactly.
Correct.
Yeah. So that is how you sort of make them understand, or bring that to your design as an inspiration, not as a copy.
Like exactly you said, like you can't add everything to a design. And you know where to hit the brakes.
Right.
And sometimes the client will not understand where to stop. So I think that comes with collaboration with you and the client.
A house is always, I always say, it's a co-creation. It's never only designer or never only a client. It's always a co-creation.
But personally, what is your, like, do you personally like designing projects for residential, commercial, retail? Like, what's your...
I like residential the best, of course. But I also like, we've done like 3 to 4 healthcares. We're doing one right now. We've done hospitality as well. Like I said, our first ever project was the resort was hospitality. I think I enjoy everything. It's about... because every client is different.
Correct.
So it's not the project, it's what you're doing. You're meeting new people, you're building relations, it's just the whole process that I enjoy.
It's very fulfilling.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Also, you have these varied projects and they've been featured also in various places. But how do you, like, as an aspiring designer, if I have a project and I have a good photographer as well, but how do I approach these magazines for collaborations?
For me personally, what I've done is I've just gone to their pages, asked for the email IDs, or if it is listed already, I've just sent them the work. And
Okay.
if your work is good, they will select it, irrespective.
All right.
Yeah, and so that is what we have done. We have not specially approached via somebody or through. Yeah, I think once or twice, if I've not had somebody's idea or something, there are also people like editors who are freelance editors who are connected to a certain magazine.
All right.
They can also help you. So it's as good as writing to the magazine. It's like approaching them that this is
So I
my.
think it's as simple as that.
Simple
the
as
wave,
that. Yeah.
the glamour around it, and actually I've seen through social media. I think we spoke of this also.
Yeah.
There's a certain kind of glamour attached around an interior designer, and designing spaces, even architects,
Yeah.
and all those things. But is it just like glamour? I mean, I'm sure that, I, as a designer, I know how much is the backlog, but
Yeah.
just from your side, I would
No,
want to
glamour is
say.
only maybe the outer 2%
Yeah.
coverage. It's way too much hard work than it appears outside.
Yeah.
And I'm sure all the designers, whether it's juniors to seniors, architects, everybody know about it. It's just that from the outside, because I meet a lot of clients initially, they're like, oh, if like for example, if we've done their office and we're doing their office and we're already done their house or something, they're like, oh, this is so fancy, I also want to be a designer. So I tell them that, what happens is, when you go and pick your outfit, it is easy because you know what you want.
Correct.
When a third person is coming and trying to help you, whether it's picking an outfit, whether it is making an outfit, whether it's making your house or an office, health, whatever, it is very difficult because A, that person has to understand what you want. B, you have to tell him clearly what you want. Sometimes you also don't know what you want. I may like this today, I may like something else tomorrow.
I think that's the designer's challenge.
Yeah.
To just understand what the
client wants. And there are so many roles that we play. I get disappointed when I see things online where I read things like, I have seen some reels wherein people say that, I'm a self-taught designer, which is very good. But you have evolved and you have worked on your own, and that's really commendable. But then I've also seen that people say that, you don't need to go to a college, or you don't need to study. You can just directly go to a site and learn from one site. I said, even there are juniors who are working with me, generally, other firms also. What I feel is you'll require at least good 3 years of working under a mentorship and understanding how the whole process is. Because see, as a designer, you're handling not just the design, you're handling what do they like, how there are even if there are only 4 people in the house, you're literally counseling. This is the word one of my clients used the other day, and I was so happy that they understand this.
Yeah.
They said, you all have to counsel everybody, bring everybody on the same page, and also make sure that it fits into a budget. So it's bringing everybody into the same page design wise, making sure that everything looks nice, also making sure that the budget is not haywire or does not affect, and eventually making sure that the services are also correct, and the timeline. So there are so many things that you're putting together. How will only one site teach you that?
Correct.
Because every site is different, every scale is different, challenges are different. So I always tell my juniors and people in general, wherever I can, that at least give 3 years of learning after your college. Or even if you don't want to do college, you feel you can do an online course, or because that is what is trending right now.
Yeah.
I don't know whether we should be against it or in for it. That is, I think, personal choice. But practically, I feel at least spend 3 years into interiors and then decide whether you want to do it on your own or no. Whether you're ready for it or no.
Yeah, because there are a lot of self-taught designers.
And they're doing well. A lot of them are doing well.
A lot of them are doing well.
Yeah.
And, within 6 months, they're like, we've started our own firm.
Yeah.
It's not as easy,
So
glamorous as it looks like.
There what happens is, I feel you probably are, if you are a self-taught person and you probably learned through one site of somebody else's site, what will happen is in your journey, what you probably would have learned in a firm and not made mistakes on the cost of somebody else's money. Or maybe, I don't know, here you are probably making those mistakes and you're spoiling your own name.
Correct.
At least learn for 3 years and then jump into that. So instead
makes
of
sense.
making those mistakes and then,
And then learning and trial and error, going back.
Yeah.
So exactly.
See, that learning doesn't stop. We are still learning.
Yeah, correct.
But then at least we know that, okay, I can deliver this much and I can deliver what I promise.
But basically out of experience. That will only
Yes.
come out of experience.
Yes. Yeah.
Correct. Also, you mentioned juniors. So I have heard a lot of designers say this, that you know, interns भाग जाते हैं, interns रहते नहीं है. You know, do you have a junior who's going to be a part of your firm?
Yeah.
And so what is this, you know, sudden, because there are a lot of interior design colleges, as you said, even online there are so many courses. So where are all these junior designers and, you know, interns going?
Oh God. So what I think, at least from our circle of friends and designer friends and all, what we hear is, and what we have been facing is that they lack. Like I said, I say at least give 3 years of learning, at minimum 3 years. It could be 5 years also, but minimum 3 years of learning into interior design under a mentorship and under a boss, under a designer, architect, whoever. And then decide. But right now what is happening is, what I see is mostly there are job switching, jumping and everything happening only because I think the person feels that they're getting paid less at a certain firm. Obviously a smaller firm and a medium firm and like a very large firm, the pay scale will vary.
Correct.
Because they are paying you as per what their income is, but they'll try to match the market standard as much as possible. But of course, maybe what you'll get for your 1 year or 2 years experience in a small firm versus a medium and a large will be different, probably. So then they feel, oh, I've done 6 months here or 8 months here, and I have this particular firm in my resume. Now let's start somewhere else.
Correct.
So that patience is lacking. That somewhere the dedication, I think what we had, although we are not like from a very older generation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, we are also like you said, we are also learning yet. We are also facing new challenges every day.
Correct.
And so why are these students not, you know, delivering that passion? But I think
it's in every field.
Yeah, it's in every field, as you said. I mean, a lot of interns and juniors. In fact, I'm associated with a lot of colleges in Mumbai. In various colleges, rather, I go for visiting faculty. And I also keep telling the same thing. I'm like, you have to stick to one decision. I think they're wavering in general.
Yeah.
So I think, see, again, I would again give this, you know, contribution to social media, because they have been exposed to so much content. So much content is out there.
Yes.
And they're like, you know, oh, you know, the grass is always greener on the other
side.
end.
Yeah.
So I think that's the way, you know, things are happening.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like you said, like a mere difference in the amount of money they're receiving, and they're losing on a great opportunity.
Yes.
So I think that
they need to, need to, I think, somebody, maybe the right mentor, the right person would have guided them that way. I don't know. Why is it happening everywhere? I'm still not sure.
Correct.
But any field, I feel, at least give 3 years.
3 years.
To
any
learning.
Field.
Yeah.
Correct. Also, what is that one skill you would want to see in a candidate who comes, you know, at your
dedication
to work?
To work. Yeah.
Do you mean to hours or to the
work. Hours, no. I always tell them, you all leave at 5 o'clock also, I have no problem. Okay. But at least give whatever time you're giving, do it. Because see, what happens is, not everything is about interior. Something is about your basic, I always tell them that today, for example, you order food. This is one example I give my juniors also. Suppose you order food on Zomato, and if it has not come, you will obviously call him, na, that bhaiya kahan hai, mera order kyun nahi aaya?
Yeah, follow-ups.
Follow-ups. Why isn't that there in your regular work? You should follow up. You know that, I have, for example, I've taken a certain quotation, I've taken a certain, whatever, like maybe I've ordered material. Why you have to follow up till it comes to site, or you have to follow up till the quotation is in your hand. You cannot just be like, I had called up, so that's my work here is done. Your work is done once the task is completed. Correct. So there are basic things like that. I feel that is dedication. That is what you know, that I have been allotted this work. This is my responsibility. So I have to do this work. So nobody can sit on your head and teach you this, right? That, you have to finish this task. That kind of dedication, I feel,
required.
Is important. Yeah.
What is collaboration for you? How important is collaboration in this business?
So personally, we've never really collaborated as such with any other designer on a project. But overall, right now, what I see is, I feel, I always tell everybody that this is the past 2 years, what I see, this is the best time to be a designer or an architect in the industry. Because there is so much of networking happening, so much of collaboration happening. There is so much respect for each other's work. It's healthy. It's nice to meet. Whether it's the smallest of the event, it's just nice to meet everyone. People know each other. Everyone's so humble, right from the most seasoned architect, designer to somebody somebody who's fresh, to everyone. It's just very nice. And there are these events happening, there are networking services, and there are everything. I mean, it's the best time to be in the industry.
In the industry.
Yeah.
I mean, as I told you, right, from the outside, it looks a little intimidating. It does, like through social media and everything.
Yeah.
But the moment, as you said, the moment you get inside, everyone is very humble.
Yes.
So I think one should just approach and ask.
Yes.
So that's what happens. People
it took
are not
us,
asking.
because both Neil and I are not that social. So it took us a lot of time to, initially we used to be, even if we were invited to an event, we would be standing in one corner with one glass of Coke, whatever, and we used to be like, wondering like how to go and approach, how to talk. But slowly we started talking, built up a circle, and it's just the best time, because the whole day you're with clients, laborers, whatever, like your work, and then eventually when you go to an event that day, if you have an event to attend, it's really beautiful. Like I mean, everything it's your time, and because what happens is the problems are common. Whatever you're facing, the whole process is common, right? Like whatever you're facing, you're meeting like-minded people, and then you feel like, he's also facing the same thing, okay, so then I am normal. So you feel better, and sometimes you also get solutions, most of the times actually, and you know that some things are going to be this way, even if you are somebody 10 years down the line also, this problem is going to be there.
Correct.
So you either you accept it, or you find some way to sort of mellow down or like reduce the issue, but that after 10 years also this is going to be there. I used to be like, no, maybe after 5 years and I will not have this issue, after 10 years I'll not have this issue. But we realize that no, as you grow, certain problems will grow with your scale, with your clients. There are clients who have seen the world. As you grow, you will meet clients who've seen the world.
Correct.
So
exactly. Sometimes the clients have seen more work and more places.
Then you
They've
have
been to like better luxury resorts than at least you have. And
then
you have to meet those expectations.
Then you have to
challenge.
meet that. Yes. So that, and so with time, problems will change, increase, whatever. But you are already exposed to certain things when you are meeting seniors or even like-minded people, firms that are as old as you. So it's really nice. Right? It's the best
also
time to be.
Competition. I mean, like you said, it's a good time to be.
Yeah.
But there's also competition going on.
Healthy,
but healthy
I would
competition.
say. Yes, there's a lot of respect for each other's work. I see we go to events. There are a lot of designers who follow each other, but they've never met. So then when they meet and they're like, I am so and so. When I say I'm Namrataa Shetty from STUDIO NAMAH, they said, we're already following you. And I also meet somebody. I said, I'm already following you, but I'm meeting you for the first time. So it's really nice. There's a lot of, like I said, there's
a lot of networking, a lot of collaboration.
Yes.
Good. So you just mentioned you work with a co-founder.
Yeah.
How is it rewarding, and also what are its challenges?
Rewarding for sure, because I also have met friends who are single-handedly, I mean it's commendable when they single-handedly are heading a firm, starting a firm, heading a firm. So it is, there are lots of, I would say, positives of having a co-founder. Negatives, not so many, at least not in my case, but there could be a point where you're not getting along, or so it's always better to have your roles divided. So between Neil and I, we have our roles divided. I handle the design part, he handles the execution part, but that does not, and he'll live for 100 years. I'll just, hello? I am at the podcast. Message me if it's something important. Okay.
This live for 100 years. I am going to take this in our snippet. This is so cool. Like we spoke about that.
And he called.
It just sits. It's nice.
I was saying that it's important to have your roles divided, but also it's not that if I am handling design and only he is handling execution, we are both equally part of everything. But the line says that when you're drawing a line, that the final call will be Namrata's and execution final call will be Neil's.
Right.
But we are helping each other for everything. But the final call is Namrata's when it comes to design, and it's Neil's when it comes to execution. He knows how to do this or how to get this done or whatever. That's his call.
So I think it's very important, like if you're starting a firm, at least for aspiring designers who want to start their own firm, it's always good to collaborate with a co-founder and to have a co-founder in your company.
So that's how I was comfortable. But but I know a lot of them are doing it single-handedly and they're doing a great job. So it's how you want
how you tackle it.
Yeah.
Correct. And what you are more comfortable
what
in
you're comfortable with.
Correct.
Yeah.
Also, any piece of advice that you'd like to give, aspiring designers out there?
So many. It's about, see, one is, it is not an easy field. Like you asked me whether it's as glamorous as it looks.
Yeah.
It is not It is not only glamorous. There are perks attached to it, or I wouldn't say perks, but there are things that you might like. Or once the project is over, once it gets published, that feeling is something else.
Yeah.
I still remember our first ever publish. We couldn't find the magazine anywhere because it was just out, so it was not still out on all the stands. So I was running everywhere, bhaiya, yeah, hai kya. So then finally, when I found the first copy, that feeling is unmatched till date. Now we have so many publishers. Whenever we get that mail, it's going to be published. Okay, chalo, one more. Of course, it makes you happy, but that first thing is that's
unbeatable.
yeah. So all of this, a lot of things are there, but there's a lot of hard work. Right from building your brand.
Years of late nights.
Oh,
and,
it is. There have been times when I have stood at a site till 3:00 in the night, and
wow.
and initially, so that is how we registered our company. There have been times where the clients have not paid us later after promising and all of that, deducted money. Oh, this is all very common. They may have their they may have their answers. We will have our argument. It is very common. That will happen. So you have to be open to everything. Whether it is, there can be projects which might be a loss for you. There will be projects which is like a very good profit for you. So you have to be open to everything. One is that, and hard work. It is not easy. It's not just Pinterest pictures picked up from here and executed here.
Agree. Correct.
There are a lot of things involved. So that is why I always keep saying that work under a mentorship. Work for 3 years minimum, and then decide whether you're ready to work for somebody or no.
Perfect.
There are, like I said, there are people who are exceptional and can manage without having a mentor or without having worked anywhere. But in general, I would say, instead of experimenting in your own firm, first learn somewhere and then decide whether you want to start on your own or no.
Yes.
It's always safe.
It makes more sense.
Yeah.
Just my last question. What would an ideal situation be when the client has to approach you? Like, what is the way in which they should?
I will give an answer in general. So anybody, whether it's us or anybody, I feel now it is very easy for a client to choose a designer. Why? Because there are social media. Everyone's page is open. It's not, earlier also was like you had websites and everything, but I think social media has made it more easy.
Yeah.
So one is when you know that this is what I want. At least you have a pin board, like I said, that there are pros and cons to everything. So they already know that kind of theme that they want or the design that they want, or at least they're close to what they want. So select that. Go through everybody's page. Look up online, whoever you're following, or look around for references. And reference as in through your relatives, friends, whom they've worked with, whatever. There are various ways to find a designer. So, and try to understand what is their forte. If it is matching with yours, there is no good designer, bad designer.
Correct.
So if it matches your wave, if they match, the wavelength matches, the design matches, then try to then go ahead with the BOQ part and everything. And everybody has like we said, that there is a certain amount of there's a certain amount that we do not take up. So try to understand all those things from them. Everybody is like, so we get very random messages on our DMs. I have a 3 BHK. How much will it cost? I said, how do I answer this question? So this is so random. So I said, there are there's scope of work, So sit with the family, define your scope of work, whether you want civil work to be done or no. What comes under civil? If you do not know, ask a designer, what kind of work is done under that, and etc. So scope of work is one thing that you should be clear of. What kind of design do you want? You should be clear of. And always have a budget in mind and have a buffer in mind that, okay, I'm okay with plus minus of so and so, whatever. And if they say that, no, we do not know the market, so we do not know how much will it cost. But at least you know that I don't want to spend beyond this. At least have a very rough figure in mind.
Correct.
Then let that designer decide. But what happens is, because the market, maybe people have faced things like, oh, if I give a budget to the designer, he will increase it, or he will not stick to it, whatever. But it's rare in these days because the competition is cutthroat. You will always have somebody working for lesser. But I would say don't just go for somebody because that person is working for lesser. Yeah. There are a lot of things like, your wavelength should match. You're working with this person for another 8 to 10 months.
Taste, exactly. There's a certain taste that should match. And there's a certain sense of aesthetic that the designer would have, which matches
with your
taste.
requirement.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct.
And you have to spend another 8, depending on your scope of work and scale of project. You probably have to work for 6 months, 8 months, or 10 months with that person. Goes both ways, you know. So you have to be sure that your wavelength matches, your design sense matches, and the budget, of course.
It's a team effort between the designer and the client also.
It is always a co-creation. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for coming to our podcast.
Thank you for
and,
having me.
We are honored that we had this conversation.
No. Pleasure's all mine.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.